Welcome to K-Drama School. I'm your host, Grace Jung, and class is now in session. Chicago this week, so you can catch me at Zany's 8 p.m. on March 30th. Same night, you can catch me at Berks Public House for the Discount Comedy Therapy Show, 8 p.m. March 31st, I'm going to be at the Comedy Bar at 8 p.m. And then on April 1st, I will be at Lincoln Lodge for a storytelling show at 7 p.m. And then April 2nd, I will be at Laugh Factory Chicago for the 7:30 show. So you can catch me in Chicago for 4 nights, and it would be awesome to see you. What's going on with me? Honestly, you guys, I'm genuinely considering maybe taking this podcast and putting it solely on Patreon. The reason why I say this is because I currently do not have any sponsorships. I've been doing this podcast for over a year now, and I don't have a consistent sponsorship. I do have one monthly subscriber who pays a fee, and I'm very grateful to that person, but it's just not enough for me, and I need to do something more with what I have, which is my time and my effort, and that is worth everything to me right now. I'm not 100% sure yet, so I'm open to your feedback. I mean, if you think you will no longer be subscribing to this if I move it to Patreon, then I totally understand, but um, it's something I'm thinking about just because everybody's on Patreon now, and it's like, well, if my efforts are going to be compensated for on that platform, then why not? Why not consider doing that? Because this costs me a lot of money every month to do. So anyway, it's something I'm thinking about. So that's just kind of on the horizon as a potential maybe. The show I'm going to be talking about today is called The Silent Sea. It is a miniseries on Netflix based on writer-director Choi Hang-yong's short film, which he entitled The Sea of Tranquility. And it was adapted for TV by Park Eun-gyo, who is a screenwriter for cinema. And she's credited for some major titles like Mother, which she co-wrote, and Bong Joon-ho is the director of that film. And she also wrote Crush and Blush, starring Kong Hyo-jin, which is a very idiosyncratic and strange movie, but Kong Hyo-jin was phenomenal in that film. So check it out if you haven't seen it. This series, The Silent Sea, has a very filmic feel to it, and it's notable not just in its pacing, but also in the intertext of the show. So, intertext is a term that is used in film and media studies to reference texts within a text. This is a TV series that has multiple film references that I see as a film viewer and a film scholar. So, the musical score, for instance, is highly reminiscent of the score by Hans Zimmer in Interstellar. In fact, it's almost identical at times. The whole viral infection thing echoes Contagion films like Contagion and Outbreak. It's also very reminiscent of pretty much any and every zombie movie or TV show we've seen from South Korea so far. There are plenty of those. The scene when Luna, the character Luna, gets lunar water thrown on her and she starts spazzing on the table, it's very reminiscent of scenes from the Korean zombie shows and movies. It's also very reminiscent of the film The Wailing by Na Hongjin, where characters show very similar sort of bodily movements. The extreme long shots of the sparse dystopian land on Earth with its yellow tones and scorched dryness is highly reminiscent of shots we've seen in Blade Runner 2049. And the scenes of the little feral girl running around and bouncing through the leaves is reminiscent of Tarzan. We also see it repeated when Peduna's character is relating to the girl in the little living area, right? When the girl is like repeating things that Peduna says and what have you, like the actions and all of this, the mirroring right? I mean, we've seen it in these other kinds of movies. The scene when Gong Yu's character closes the gate, letting the two doctors escape in the end while staying behind, is reminiscent of Armageddon. We've seen it with Bruce Willis's character. The scene when Gong Yu passes out and has flashbacks of his daughter is reminiscent of Train to Busan, which also stars Gong Yu, and Gong Yu has flashbacks of his daughter when he's about to turn into a zombie in that movie. The concept of clones being used for experiments is highly reminiscent of Never Let Me Go, which is a film based on the Kazuo Ishiguro novel of the same title. And these movies and shows embedded or echoed in the Silent Sea are what I mean by intertexts, text within a text. I do feel like the filmmaker is a bit of a novice. Sea of Tranquility is Che's second short film. He made another short film in 2006 called Chalk, which I don't know anything about, but The Silent Sea is Che's first major budgeted project. And because of this, there are many copy elements in the show that harken back to these other major motion pictures or TV shows that we now claim as canonical texts. When I was younger, I used to really despise how often Korea copied mainstream Hollywood or American products. This goes beyond just America. When I was a teenager and visited Korea for the first time in 13 years, my mom's best friend was a black market hustler of knockoff handbags from like Europe, like, Louis Vuitton and Prada. And these copies were so accurate that nobody questioned the quality or authenticity of my bags. The one difference is time. So these bags, the knockoffs, they don't do well with time because the quality of the materials are not up to par with luxury brands. And after a couple of years, like, I couldn't carry these bags anymore. They just went in the trash. When I was a teenager, I was a big fan of Alicia Keys. And as soon as Alicia Keys started winning Grammys, Korea had their own string of R&B female singers that they were grooming for the K-pop industry to really liken Alicia Keys's vibe. But when I got into college, I read an essay by Virginia Woolf who encouraged copying as a novice. She encouraged reading what others might criticize as mainstream and therefore trash. And she said that every artist has a beginning, and as a creator, we should read what we are drawn to and emanate who we are drawn to. And the more we create over time, we develop our own voice, imprint, and mark. And I think Choi Hang-yong is still in the process of finding his own authentic mark as a creator. I don't think this was a particularly good show. When this show came out last year, it was still riding off the coattails of Squid Game's intense popularity, and that's why it was rated as like one of the top 10 most viewed shows of the week, but it's not a good show, not by any means. The show has a lot of benefit from major Hallyu stars, though, like Baeduna, Gong Yoo, Kim Sun-young, and Yi Jun from M Black. I was very impressed with Yi Jun's performance on this show. He's really become a man since I last saw him in that weird Kim Gi-duk movie, Rough Play. I'm very impressed by his acting chops, and I felt like Yi-jun really came into his own since then. And this is what I mean. I think Choi Hang-young needs some time to become a seasoned writer-director. I think he needs more time to make more TV shows and movies. I think The Silent Sea could have just been a single feature film. I didn't think that it needed to be drawn out into a TV series. But of course, given South Korea's high demand for TV shows by Netflix, a lot of filmmakers are becoming showrunners, right? I mean, this is where that awkwardness comes in. I also wonder if this kind of demand is hurting the filmmakers' dreams and careers to stretch out a screenplay and make it a 320-minute show rather than just a simple 90-minute movie. Something that is done solely to meet the demands of Hollywood and its streaming markets at this time. So, is Hollywood hurting the quality of Korean filmmakers' works? I mean, this is a question that we can bring up. And in this instance, I say yes. I say it has hurt Choi Hang-young's quality. But I also think that Chae Young isn't. Um, yeah, he doesn't really quite have what it takes to be a showrunner, or even, I don't know, even a filmmaker's hat at this point. There was just so many copy elements in this show that it was distracting to a fault. But hey, everybody needs their time and space to grow into their own artistry. That I give them. Today I'm going to talk to Blake Hammond. He is a Cincinnati-based comedian, very funny guy. We met at the comedy festival in North Carolina last year. He's a good guy, interesting guy. We had a great talk. So let's talk to Blake Hammond. Where are you based again?
Cincinnati.
Oh, right. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Do
How is
you,
LA?
by any chance, know how's LA?
Yeah,
LA is LA's difficult, I guess. It's not
yeah.
easy
A
here.
nightmare.
Uh,
What do you mean not
Sometimes.
easy? Like,
Well, everybody here has a dream. Maintaining a dream
so
is
it's
difficult.
yeah, it's bad. Uh,
Yeah.
is it like, is it bad because are the people? Is it just I don't know. Is it bad because the comedy is bad, or is it bad because it's hard to get into the good comedy places? You know what I mean?
Huh. Comedy is, if you want to look for bad comedy, you could find it anywhere, right?
Yeah,
And,
yeah, for sure.
you could do the same with good comedy. But no, I mean, there are some good comics out here for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. LA is just challenging, I guess. It's like it's expensive and hard to find a job that is like not degrading, and you
Right.
know, uh yeah, it's difficult in that sense. And then it's like people who are here, they obviously have certain goals that they want to accomplish, but like trying to get to those goals is challenging, and then trying to maintain those goals in spite of all the challenges and the rejection and the impalement, that's what makes it
Yeah.
hard, I suppose. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I
it's
feel like that's everywhere too. It's just yeah. I guess LA. It's just everyone goes there. Yeah, it's like what you said. Everyone goes there with the dream, right? Not everyone in Cincinnati,
mhm.
Ohio, has a dream. Some people just have jobs. Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah,
just and just live out their
yeah,
lives. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
and it's yeah. So at least the good part of that, like LA, to me would be that everybody sort of gets it. You know what I mean?
uh-huh,
Like where
uh-huh,
like they're all like on the same lease, like they understand what you're doing, and understand
right,
that the drive of the dream and the goals or whatever. And it's not just
yeah,
everyone you went to high
yeah.
school with. It's like a plumber or whatever, and you're like,
That-
yeah, I'm not gonna I'm not
is
gonna do
is that
that.
is that your situation though? Like, are you like born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio? Like,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I've
wow,
lived here my entire life. And there
wow,
just happens to be I like got very lucky that there just happens to be a very good club here and like a very
yeah,
good scene. And it's like really
yeah,
centralized to like a lot of bigger cities. So
sure, sure. And you do the road, and you do
yeah,
this and
yeah.
that.
And that's what's
Yeah,
easy too. It's like, these people come in from like I'm opening for Normand in a couple weeks because it's like,
yeah,
because he knows I live, you know what I mean? So when he's ever around the area, it's just like, oh, come here. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah,
It's two
yeah,
hours away,
yeah. He's great. I love him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Um, okay, didn't you just tape a special recently?
Yes, yes. It is taped a special with this production company out here that has connections to Amazon. Um,
Yeah,
so it'll be on Amazon Prime. But yeah, I just got the second cut of it last week, and it's cool, man. It's like
nice.
we taped it in Cincinnati in this like basement area that's like 50 seats,
Ah,
and it was cool. Yeah, it's fucking. It looks great. It sounds good. I'm excited about it. I don't know what to
yeah.
call it. Because I don't
Really, you
know.
don't have a title
I
yet.
No, I don't have a title yet.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like 36 minutes. so it's not too long. I just I hate like hour specials, dude. Like
Huh.
I can't watch it. I can't watch comedy for an hour. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when I can't even
Yeah.
doing it for an hour is like, okay, are we done?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess like maybe 45 minutes is like a sweet spot
Yeah,
to
it's
end it
not
on.
bad. It's not bad, but even then, dude, it's like if you're headlining a club, and I guess maybe because 45 in a club, you have the check drop, so it feels like
Yeah.
why we have this 10 minutes where it just sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just feels like 30 minutes is like the perfect amount of
Hmm.
time I think to watch,
Yeah.
unless you're
Yeah.
watching somebody I don't know who's amazing. You know what I mean? Like doing their
Sure.
Netflix special or whatever, where it's very
Sure.
catered to that length of time. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I could never watch like if Dave Chappelle did like an hour, like whatever he does, like 4 hours sometimes. It's like Jesus Christ. I would,
He's done way longer too, I hear.
yeah, right, like days or something. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. That I don't understand. That I'm like, why? What? Why? What's the point of you doing that? What's the point of the audience sitting there doing that? I just don't get it.
Because
Um,
you're not working on anything at that point. You know what I mean? You're not like, oh, this bit works great at 2.5 hours in. You know what I mean? Like you're not like
that's true.
finding anything out. Like you're
Yeah.
just it's self-serving at a point.
You're just
Um,
talking, yeah. And
yeah, you're
comics
just
love to
talking.
talk.
I actually,
Comics
dude, I hate it. I there's nothing more
really.
I hate in the world than talking. I like doing my jokes. Like if I could just sit and like not speak, that would be amazing.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
truly. Do you love
I
talking?
personally, well, I like talking if it's about something I'm interested in, but I don't
Yes.
like small talk. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of my like comedy circle people around here, they all kind of say similar things about me. They're like, when I first met you, I thought you hated me. And I was like, based on, I was like, based on what? They're like, well, you just don't talk. I was like, I don't like talking. It's not about, it's not that I don't like talking to you specifically. You don't have to take it personally. I just don't like talking to anybody about like bullshit that I don't care about, you know? So I
Yes.
just kind of sit there quietly.
Yes,
Yeah.
dude. That's how I feel too. I mean, like, I just went to lunch with a couple comics that are in town doing the Go Bananas, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like like that first 5 minutes is just painful. It's, how are you been? It's like terrible, awful. I don't want to talk about it. What do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. Tell me about the bad stuff that's happening with you, and I'll tell you the bad stuff that's happening with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Who died
Yeah,
recently?
right.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Tell
Right
me
off
who
the
died
bat.
and
Who
how it
is going through
hurt.
a breakup right now? Which of you have
Yes.
your hearts broken right in this moment? Yeah. When's the last time you thought about killing yourself? Let's talk about
Yes.
that. Yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not kidding, dude. It's not
Yeah,
kidding. I fucking brought, I was
yeah,
like, oh
yeah.
yeah, I've been feeling real down lately. I'm probably gonna fucking kill myself. And they were just like, I'm like, okay, all right, maybe it might have been too much. We haven't ordered coffee yet, but yeah, sure.
But yeah. But it's, that's the thing that's on the forefront of my mind, and I'm just saying
Right.
whatever's right here. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly, dude. And that's why that's why and then I'll just not talk like that I've gotten that like I think you hate me. It's like no, dude, you just don't want to
Yeah.
hear you don't want to hear what I have to say currently. Trust
You
me.
don't want to know what's going on. Yeah. It is dark and choppy waters in here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sparing you. This is my way of loving you. Yeah. This is love I'm
Yeah.
actually showing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
dude.
that's what they
Yes.
don't get. Um, no, that's interesting. It's funny that you would just say like, yeah, so I'm thinking about killing myself and then just like not talking thereafter too. It's like,
Yeah, it's like, well,
okay,
you guys don't
I
want to
weirded
talk
them
about the
out.
thing I want to talk about, so
So I'm just gonna shut up.
you guys haven't been thinking about what gun to put in your mouth? Like what one's not what one's not going to mess up your teeth the most? Like
Oh God. Um, do you like remember your dreams like well? Can you remember your dreams
no,
kind of
not at all.
vividly?
I'm like
Oh.
on to speak of depression, so I'm on like 4 antidepressants, so I don't remember like anything I
Ah.
like
Okay, okay.
ever dream. Why do
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, like for like 3 weeks now, I've been just having violent dreams with like people chasing one another, guns, like people rotting flesh. Like it's like very violent and
It
grim
sounds
and
cool.
gory, and it is kind of cool. It's like a fun action film, but it's also like I don't
Yeah.
know what the hell's going on, in here that's
Right.
causing these dreams. Because I don't
Do you?
feel I don't feel
Go ahead. Sorry.
panicked or anything during the
Yeah.
day. So
Are you like are you watching a certain thing? Like are you like you know what I mean? Like where you like
not at
watch like
all.
some sort
Yeah.
of media that would be like sort of
Yeah.
destructive or whatever, and then
Uh-huh.
you like
Uh-huh.
sort of gets your imagination going with that.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. No. No. Like last night I watched Shrek 2. Like I didn't watch anything.
And then you go to bed and it's Vietnam. It's great.
Exactly. That's what's happening. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? So it's not
That's
the
so funny.
media. It's all me. It's all here. It's
Yeah,
like
dude, it's all in your head. Like, cause like, yeah, I would
uh,
understand if you're like watching the news, like on Ukraine or something, and like, you know what I mean?
sure.
It's like you're like, oh, like war and whatever. But like, then
Violence,
you're
yeah.
watching fucking Shrek 2.
Shrek 2. I'm watching a
That's so
children's
funny.
film. Yeah, and
That's
it's
so
like
funny, dude. That's
mayhem in there.
crazy. So
So
you're
okay,
not anxious at all, or like depressed or whatever? Now I'm like
I'm
genuinely curious into why that's happening. That's wild.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm anxious. I was a little anxious yesterday, um, because like I don't have like a job or anything at the moment. I have no jobs.
Yeah,
I'm like auditioning for stuff. I'm not really booking anything at the moment. I'm hoping to.
yeah,
I yeah, so I'm just kind of like sitting around.
right.
And that calls for some anxiety, but I'm not like, there's no like panic and alarm bells and shit. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, like today I'm gonna
huh?
just go to the park. And
Right.
so if there is anxiety, it's like very much like deep down in there. And
Yeah, with all
yeah,
those other, with all the murder and
with all the
gore and shit,
bombs and the dead
and the
bodies,
bombs,
yes.
yeah, and the dead
Yeah.
bodies, dude.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
Yeah, that's if you find out, yeah, I mean, there's not really like that's not like a dream journal thing. You know what I mean? It's not like your teeth falling out or like, you're naked in front of
yeah.
class. That's like
No.
yeah, a flashback to a previous life.
Mm-hmm. To my past life when I was a
Yeah.
soldier and a Marine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, you don't have a title for your special yet, but I'm sure
No.
there's some titles that you're kind of like bouncing around in your head.
Somewhat. I mean, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I watched it with my friend the other day, and we were like,
Uh-huh.
I mean, he was like, I don't know how many jokes are there. And I was like, probably like, I mean, like actual bits. Like if you just like whatever, not like how many actual jokes are in it. But I don't know, probably like 30 bits. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like you could call it that. I'm like, I guess, but that's not really like a catching title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to call it. I want it to be something that like everything's sort of dark and silly. That's the only like through line, really. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Dark and
all sort of
silly.
fucked up and silly, but I don't really have any ideas. I mean, I was thinking like now that's what I call jokes or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Something
Mm.
dumb, just like whatever, just to like
Mm-hmm.
throw a thing on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you could make like an easy
Yeah.
thing for it. But it just, yeah, I don't know. It all sort of, I
Coming
haven't
coming up
found
with a I
the
feel like coming up with a
phrase.
title is like the most fun, because
See,
like
that's
I
like giving me the most anxiety. I was like the fun part was like the fun part for me was recording it because it
yeah.
was like two packed shows of just people from that like my stand up. So it's like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was they like get it. So like they came, you know what I mean? They're all in the same
Yeah,
room and it
right.
feels real nice
Right.
when you get
Yeah.
that. But yeah, now that like that's like it's like I don't know even what to I don't know. I guess I just
Uh,
hate I hate thinking about my shits. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh,
Like outside of like working on it, like doing
sure.
the jokes or whatever and
Yeah.
writing, like I hate like
Yeah.
the outside of like how to brand it or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I don't
Hmm.
know. Maybe that's just like maybe it's because I hate myself, probably. But that's probably what it is.
That could be a
I was
title.
gonna,
Maybe it's because I hate
yeah,
myself. Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna call it "I hate this" and I want to die, but then I like I don't hate the special, but I like
No.
it is a funny thing to say.
Yeah.
But I
I
also
think
don't want to give people.
it's funnier if you say maybe it's because I hate myself. Because it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just unsure enough,
yeah. But still,
to
yeah, because like
make
I
it
am
light.
right. The problem is
Yeah.
I'm very sure of the jokes. I am not. I hate everything else about me. That's like that's the. So I just don't want it to come across that I'm unsure of the
Yeah.
product. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The product's
Mm.
fine. It's the person
Oh.
that's doing
I
it.
never even would have gone into thinking that deeply about it. I just think
Yeah. See,
saying
that's the problem.
maybe it's because I hate myself is funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
think they're right. That's what I said.
to end everything with that is funny, you know? It's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
why did you move the car here?" Maybe it's because I hate myself. Just
Did you guys
answer
ever think
everything
about
that way.
that?
Yeah, it's like, "Why didn't you send this report in on time?" Maybe it's because I hate myself. Just like answer everything that way. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not bad, dude. I might that is pretty good. That might have shot to the top.
Potentially a title. So we have a
Potentially
potential
a
title.
title. We
Maybe
have a
it's
potential
because I
title.
hate myself.
Maybe it's because I hate myself, dude. That's
Yeah,
actually kind
yeah.
of dope. Man,
That's kind of
that's
catchy.
great.
Maybe it's because I hate myself. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is kind of catchy.
Yeah.
Man,
It's
there it
like
is,
funny
dude.
to end everything that way.
It
Maybe
is.
it's
And
because
also end everything. We That's
that
like
could
the
be
end
the
of my
hashtag to
suicide note.
promote it.
Maybe it's cuz
Yeah, yeah. Maybe
Yeah,
it's because
right.
I hate myself. That's why I shot myself in the head. Okay?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It
Yeah.
might have been
Dear
why.
Dear mom, I shot myself in the head. Maybe it's because I hate myself. It's not your fault, but
It
maybe
might be.
just
It might be me.
just it might have been because I hated myself. I'm now writing in the past tense because I'm dead. So it might have been because I hated myself.
It might have
Right?
been
Right?
because I hate
It might have
myself.
been. It
That's
might have been
hilarious.
just that, mother. Right? Fuck.
That's great. That's great.
No, I was listening to Tom Segura talk about this. Do you like Tom Segura?
Yes, yes. My friend,
Like, yeah.
My friend Jeff, who's from Cincinnati, like is his opener. He goes and like
Oh,
tours all
nice.
over. He's on tour with them now.
I
Um,
love Tom
yeah,
Segura.
me too.
Yeah.
He's great.
So he was talking about this, like how he couldn't come up with a title for his special. And he showed it to Judd Apatow, and then Apatow helped him come up with the title. And I was
Yeah,
like, oh, yeah, like that's also a way to do it. Like, show it to another comic friend that you trust, and then, have them see like what the essence of it is or what the theme is, and
yes,
they can come up with it
yes,
fast too.
yeah. I think
But
I'm
yeah,
gonna
coming
show
up
it
with
to
titles
like.
is fun.
I think I'm gonna show it to like 2 or 3 more people, and then just be like, "Hey, like, I just need a
Yeah,
title." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
just
yeah,
write down like 5 things,
yeah,
and then we'll just pick from that, and we'll probably land on
yeah.
maybe it's because I hate myself, but I'm like I'm
Yeah,
falling in love with it. I'm falling in love with it
yeah,
like as we keep
yeah,
saying it, and I'm like, maybe it is,
yeah.
dude. Maybe
Maybe
it's because
it's
I'm writing it down.
because, just maybe, I have an inkling. This is just a thought. I'm just spitballing here, but maybe
Yeah, I
it's
love
because I
that.
hate
I
myself.
love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Because to say I hate it's because I hate myself is too certain and therefore too sad. You
Right.
know,
Yes,
it's
right.
too dark. But then it becomes kind of like a jokey thing when you add the maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You're like
But
it's I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm spitballing. Maybe it's because I
just
hate myself.
spitballing. Let's see what sticks. And I think it's because maybe it's because I hate myself. Are there things you do like habits that you have that are born out of you hating yourself?
Man, that's a good question. I wonder if there is. I wonder if like I don't know if I like if anything specifically bumps out of like that like right
Mm,
away. But I bet there
yeah.
is. I bet there's stuff I do that is so self-destructive. Like I mean maybe part of it is that stuff we were talking before like of like not being able to just have that bullshit kind of conversation. Maybe that's because I hate myself. You know what I mean? Where it's
That's a
just
good point.
like that kind of, because that is, that bullshit conversation is like, makes people like you. You know what I mean? That makes
Yeah.
like you affable to humans. You know what I
I
mean? And
think care for you. It makes them care for you,
yes,
or they're giving you
yes,
attention on something that you think is so trivial that shouldn't even be
yes,
mentioned. And here they are bothering
yeah,
to listen and respond with empathy or
yeah,
sympathy or whatever. And you're just like, what the fuck is this shit? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
maybe that's part of it. I mean, there's definitely stuff that I like. I mean, I eat bad, and I mean, whatever. Like I used to, it
Yes.
used to be like drugs, used to be like drugs and alcohol or whatever. But now it's
Yeah.
just, bad
Yeah.
food or, stuff like that, like not exercising and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely because
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I get that.
I don't know, but I bet there is. Like, I bet there. It's kind of wild to think subconsciously of the stuff you do because you truly just do not like who you are.
Yeah,
And also, it's
for sure.
crazy to think about how much I don't like me when I really think everybody else kind of sucks too. So it's like, you know what I mean? Where you're like, you're like, yeah, but I'm like really bad, but you guys are like taking the cake. Yeah, like,
Even worse.
yeah, I suck,
That's
but boy, you guys are like,
that's actually wow. Imagine that. Imagine it's like the only reason why I'm not taking my own self-hatred personally is because I know in comparison to me, you guys are so much worse. Like, oh fucking God. Like, Jesus. You guys are beyond
well,
repair. Yeah. Me, I could
yeah,
work
well,
on,
you see,
but you,
yeah.
forget it.
Well, you
Yeah.
see somebody with
Yeah.
like no self aware. I mean, we see it all the time with like comics, no
Yeah.
self awareness, or just like very narcissistic and like
Yeah.
very self serving people. And then,
Mm.
but then you're like, I'm not like that, but I do suck. Yeah, I suck for different reasons, but not that.
But not for that shit. Fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not for
No.
that shit. Like I'm a person.
I mean, I'm a human being. Good God.
Yeah,
No,
right.
sometimes when I see those people though, I just feel a little bad. I'm like, man, like they don't get it at all. But at the same time, I
Yeah.
don't feel bad to the point where I want to go and be their friend and develop a foundation and then work towards potentially telling them about it. Like that I'm not interested in at all. Like I just avoid
No.
them. But
Yeah, for sure. But that's also like that's the problem too. Is a lot of those like vapid, sort of self-serving people are the like are people that if we became befriended them, that that's most of
yeah.
the big name people. You know what I mean? Not all of them, obviously. There are some very
Yeah.
nice people who have done well
Yeah.
for themselves, but yeah, I mean the people that like network their way to the top. It's like that's like
Yeah.
very much the sort of vibe
Sure.
in any field,
That's
not just in
interesting.
comedy.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, that's true. But it's interesting that you have a lot of these vapid types in Cincinnati as well. I didn't realize that there was such a
Oh, dude, yeah, they're everywhere. It's because it's the same. It's the same type of person that does stand up. You know what I
okay.
mean? There's like
Sure.
six of us, but
Sure.
there's like nice people who hate themselves who are funny,
Uh-huh.
and then there's nice
Yeah.
people who hate themselves who aren't funny, and then there's the worst people
Who love themselves and are not
who love
funny.
themselves and are not funny, or who love themselves and are very funny. It's like there's like four
Oh
types
God.
of people.
Yeah, that's true. There are all kinds of
And
people.
Yeah, there's really you can
Yeah.
like but like with comedians, I feel like you can just fit them into. There's like I guess there's like people who do it as a hobby, and then people who do it who are like just starting and are so excited, and it's like oh
It's
man, you're
true.
gonna get
Yeah.
the life beaten out of you
Yeah.
like so
So
badly.
you started comedy in Cincinnati, and you're like, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do for my life as a living, and that was it.
Yes,
You
yeah,
never
that
you
was.
never
I
thought
mean,
about relocating or anything.
oh yeah, I definitely did think about relocating, but then like it was like around the time of the pandemic. Like I was making enough money to quit my job like right before the
Mhm.
pandemic, and I was like sick.
Mhm.
I'm gonna quit my job, and then I
Yeah.
didn't. Thank God, because then I got like all that unemployment stuff like in that like
Sure.
time where
Yeah.
we couldn't work. So
Yeah.
that was like very lucky, but yeah. Then once we came back, it was like okay, noticing that you don't really have to be in New York or LA unless you want to like act or whatever.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
just want to do stand up at a professional level, you don't have to whatever and you can still get on TV from other places, so it's like it doesn't really
Right.
matter, you know?
Right. Right.
Of course, if I went to like if I did move, I would move to probably New York and it would be much quicker route to,
Right.
getting to do the things I want to do, but
Yeah.
at the same time, if you build a fucking following on the internet, that's like you have to do that anyways.
That's true.
You know, like even no
I
matter
know.
where you are, if you don't have a following, it doesn't matter. So it's like,
Uh, it's really interesting how that's become a thing. They're like these TikTok celebrity, I'll call them celebrities with quotes. They start getting headlining spots at clubs and shit here.
yeah,
They've
they have them here
never done
too, dude.
stand up, never done stand up, and they just have a few videos that have like hundreds of millions of views or whatever, and they get headlining spots at clubs. And yeah, it's like,
It's crazy.
whoa.
It's
Yeah, it's
crazy,
like,
dude. And then like you get, and the thing is, it's like I've opened for some of these TikTok kids. I
yeah.
opened for one. I don't even know what his name is still. We did not speak. And but I've never seen any of his videos. He sold merch before the show. It sold,
Wow.
I'm telling you, thousands of dollars. It was crazy. It was
Wow.
like,
Wow.
and all the shirts are just like things. It would be like, oh, like Midwest shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just sayings that people say, and people are eating it
Wow.
up. And yeah, man. And then they bring out these audiences that like have never been to a stand up show. So like I go up and I'm
Yeah.
talking about the stuff I always talk about, and they're just like, "What?" And I'm
Wow.
just like, "Oh, oh yeah, oh yeah. You guys probably don't know about pedophiles or whatever, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pedophiles, but
You know
they're
what?
not like it's not just relatable.
This is potentially a separate business if you think about it. There could be a live theater for TikTok celebrities only, TikTok and YouTube personalities only.
Yes,
And then they could do their events that way. That way there's no like clash or conflict when it comes to comedians and like a
yeah,
stand-up audience, people who go to a comedy club to watch comedy, you know?
right. Yeah, I it would be nice, but comedy clubs they just want that money, dude. I mean, they made this was a Thursday night, and it was two shows,
Yeah.
both sold
Yeah.
out.
Wow.
I mean, crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
a
Can't
line
beat
of
that.
people. Yeah, and
Mm.
they're not going to turn that away. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that would be good. And maybe, I mean, some of these kids are fucking saving these clubs. Yeah, that's the craziest part. Is some of these kids are like putting
Mm.
on shows and like giving them such a good amount of money. Like
Yeah,
those
I
kids, and
guess.
then like those impractical Joker dudes, like it's
Yeah.
insane. They sell out so fast, so
Yeah.
hard, make so much money. It's crazy. And then we're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, I crafted really good jokes and nobody knows me.
I spent 5 years on this joke, and I said it
Yeah, I
all over
finally
the
got.
world. All over, and
No
it's
one
bombing
knows
here. It's
one.
bombing here
Yeah,
in front of
it's
the kids
bombing.
wearing cotton-colored tie-dye, cotton candy-colored tie-dye shirts. Nobody gives a shit,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if I
Oh,
had just been
fuck.
like, I love Jake Paul, they would have been like, yes! You know what I mean? Just like lose their fucking shit.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well,
I don't know.
well,
Sorry,
okay,
go
then
ahead.
let me ask you this. Like, then in spite of that, let's call it a hurdle of sorts, okay? In spite of that, this competing tsunami of Gen Z, vapid, bullshitty, pretentious, teeny
Yeah.
bopper bitches, because like they're not into fucking Backstreet Boys or anything anymore. They're into some teeny bopper who gives a shit. I don't
Yeah.
even know. And their little dance moves on 30 seconds to a minute long video. You got that. We're up against that. How do you
Yes.
maintain how do you maintain the rationale and focus to continue to pursue this as a stand-up?
I was just thinking about that today, how I should quit. um, no,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there is ways. I mean, there because okay, I just hosted for Kyle Kinane for the first time, and there's still people. There's still people
Yeah.
that love stand up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's like it feels good. Like once you get in front of people that love stand up comedy, it's like there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of them around the country, around the world that love
Sure.
the art of stand up. I think there's
Okay.
definitely still an audience for it. It's
Uh,
just, the clubs we are working also need to make money. So we have to deal with
right.
these kids and whatever. And if they have to, have some kid if they had to have that like sup dude guy, from Vine, come in and sell out 2 shows and just be weird for a half hour, sure. That's cool.
Uh,
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
like it's like
That's
you
a
got
good
to do
point.
what you have to do. Is that
That's a good
almost it
point.
almost like is like that gives us a place to do our thing. Like they are essentially keeping our places alive, for the people who
Mm,
like stand up.
that's a beautiful thought. It kind of reminds me of like tent pole movies, like
Yeah.
your blockbuster films that keep a studio upright,
Yes.
and then you can filter out
100%.
some of the more artistic films
Yeah. I
because
mean
the tentpole films. Yeah.
the production company that did my special, like, just shot. They shoot like Christian movies in Cincinnati, like for like
Oh,
Christian things, because
yeah,
and they make
yeah.
so much money off of it, and then they go
Right.
and fund a bunch of people's comedy dreams. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
cool, like, it's like fine. You know what I mean? I will take the Christian money and I will use it to accelerate
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
career.
Sure. That's actually a really like wise way of seeing it then. I like that. That gives me some hope for today. Thank you. Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that
dude,
insight.
because you have to have some hope, or it's just a nightmare hellscape that we live in, and everything's bad. So it's like, yeah, the take.
Yeah.
My take is TikTokers are good for right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
so I don't
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't hang
They have a
myself.
purpose. They serve a
Yeah,
purpose, and
right.
it aligns with our purpose too. Okay, okay, okay.
Yes, yes.
Got it. Got it. That's super helpful. Okay, okay, okay. So I do this on all of my podcast episodes. I take one specific Korean television show, and then
Okay.
I ask my guest questions based on scenarios from that show, and like, what would you
Okay.
do if you were in this situation? So you just like,
Okay.
improvise whatever answer you want to come up with. So
Okay.
the show I'm talking about is called The Silent Sea. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's a short, I think it's like 8 episodes, very short TV show. Okay, and it's a sci-fi. Do you like sci-fi stuff?
I do. I'm watching Archive 81 currently.
Oh wow,
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
dope. Okay, shit. All right. So let's say you're a scientist named Jian. The Earth is going through a major water shortage, and
Yes.
people are dying and suffering all around the globe. And you're an astrobiologist, and you're hired to go to a station on the moon where they were conducting research on lunar water. But several years ago, your older sister went on a mission there and she died. Okay? And now it's
Yeah.
your turn to go. What do you do?
I guess you have to go. You have to go to save the planet, even though it may be hurtful to go to the
Huh.
place where your dear sister, I imagine, has
Uh-huh.
passed away. But also maybe there's a cathartic thing in the idea of going to the place where your sister died. Does he know why she died
No.
or how?
No.
Ugh. So
No.
yeah,
I mean, they have some
that's even
answer.
better.
They're like, oh, there was like a radiation leak, but it's like, it sounds like bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So now, yeah, you kind of there's that morbid curiosity of wanting to know how your sister died too, while also
Yeah.
potentially getting to save the planet of the
Huh.
water supply
Okay.
thing. So yeah, I definitely go. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you get to go to the moon, so why not? Yeah. Okay.
And you get to progress the plot. which is
And
always
that.
good. Or you
That's
could
the
just be
most
like,
important thing.
no,
Yeah.
no, show's over.
End of it. End. Okay. So, okay, let's say you're the team captain of, you're a different person now. You're a different person.
Okay.
Let's say you're the team captain of this space mission to the moon, okay? But you
Yeah.
have a young daughter who is severely disabled. She has a physical disability. She can't use her legs. You're her only living parent, all right? There's no mother. And there's a very high risk of you dying on this mission, but you're assigned this task to go to the space station and find out what went wrong. What do you do?
Fuck. I mean, do you bring her with you? Is it possible? Is it possible that you bring her with you? You know what I mean? Like, do you? I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, what other option is there? Because you can't just leave her alone on Earth.
Huh.
You
Huh.
have to either go with her or stay. So
Wow.
I would take her with me if I was, and you're the captain, so you get to decide, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd take her. I guess I'd just take her with me
Wow.
and put us both in danger.
As long as you're together. Yeah.
Hey, d can we just can Koreans just have like a nice time? Can we not have to have these terrible decisions?
Yeah. Yeah. I know. We ask ourselves that all the time. We're like, can't life just be easy and nice?
Yeah, that's a show
Maybe
I
that
want to
explains
watch.
all my nightmares. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
just have like nightmares every night.
yeah, you're having
Yeah,
all
yeah,
these scenarios in your head.
yeah. It's just there. It's built. It's in my bones, in my blood. I can't escape it. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Fuck.
so funny.
Okay. All right, then let's say you're back to Dr. Chian, okay, the one with the dead sister. All right, you get to the moon and you find that there is indeed water there, but there's something weird about this water. All right. You see one of your crew members come in contact with this lunar water and he can't stop vomiting water. Like it's just like a deluge of water coming out of his pores, his mouth. He's like barfing water. It doesn't stop. And then he just dies. So the lunar water that they found at this station is indeed water, but if it comes in contact with the human body, it becomes like a virus, and it starts to multiply at a like an uncontrollable rate. And you realize like there's no way to control this. So what your understanding is that your government sent you on this mission to get this water and bring it back to Korea before the other countries find it, okay? But you also realize that some accident involving this water is what killed your sister and everybody else on the first mission. And that's a fact that the government hid from you, and they hid from the media altogether. What do you do?
You bring it back and kill everyone in the government with it. You just jack Reacher or whatever, dude, and you get a water gun and you go to the Capitol and you just fucking fire, dude. That's what I would do. Get a super soaker, take out every single person in the government.
That's the best. Yeah, it's like who needs military artillery? Just get a plastic water gun and just squirt people
I have a
with
plastic water because it's just water, right? Until it touches the human body.
Yeah.
See ya, dude. Bye. Yeah, you're done. You just kill everyone with the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
You figure out a way to weaponize it. Okay. Oh wow, that's smart. Okay. I like that. All right. Final question.
Oh yeah.
let's say you're the same doctor again. You're Dr. Chian again, okay? You find there's a little girl. Like there's a little girl in this abandoned station, right? And she has like superhuman powers there. She's like bouncing off walls. She's like tearing people's limbs off. She's like super feral. She can't even speak, all right? You realize that she is a clone that was used by scientists, including your sister, for tests to make this lunar water consumable for human bodies. All right. And then you find numerous other clones of this little girl's body that were, researched on and killed during their whole process. So you realize now that your sister was part of a very unethical research experiment. What do you do?
Oh man. Well, I guess I would take that girl back with me and kill everybody in the government with the water. I would like get the gun and then I would send her out and be like, yo, these are the people who fucked you. Let's do this. You know what I mean? She would be my confidant in that. But at the same time, okay, so with that, like, what else could you do, right? Other than get revenge on the government. And, your sister was a part of it. Sure, that sucks, but she's dead. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
She's dead. She was bad. That was a bad thing she did. But you can get them back because you got this cool water and now this like feral child that rips people apart. It sounds like you have a kick-ass army ready to go back to Korea and murder every one of your enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do, man. Plus, and then if you kill everybody in the government, that's less people. You don't need as much water.
That's true. Yeah.
And there we go, dude. Problem solved.
Problem solved. Yeah. No, actually, the scenarios that you're cooking up, they sound like they could be a good like film to follow up on this TV show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, this TV show sounds like it rules. This TV show sounds like it's awesome. They just need some more American aggression to add to it.
Yeah, more colonial aggression.
Yeah, right. Where you just we go back. Yeah. How do we make it a weapon? How do we make water a weapon? That's how American I am. I'm like, yo, how do we?
Yeah.
How do we make water a weapon, dude?
Let's ruin.
Is there a way to add guns? Yeah.
All right, very good. All right, nice. What I'm learning out of this whole thing is that you you are a true anarchist at heart. Yes, you're just like,
Yes.
yeah, fucking revenge, weaponize, and tear down the government. There we go. Yeah, that's good.
Yes, 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 for sure. I know I look like I stormed the Capitol, but I did not. I'm sounding like I did as well, but I did
Yeah,
not
yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's a cool
yeah.
idea, but they didn't do it cool. They didn't have cool water to do it with.
All right, this is great. Thank you, Blake.
This was, yeah.